Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
A name I always enjoy saying, Staats Cotsworth. In an episode of Casey Crime Photographer going back 75 years to November 20th, 1947, earned reward. Yes, if you want to know, it's spelled S-T-A-A-T-S. Cots, C-O-T-S, Worth, W-O-R-T-H. Staats Cotsworth is the name. Well, my name is Wyatt Cox, and I thank you for being with us on this Sunday, 20th day of November, 75th day. No, it's not the 75th day. It's the 324th day of the year. 41 days left until we get to 2023. It was on this date in 1945. Trials against 24 Nazi war criminals started at the Palace of Justice at Nuremberg.
You must plead guilty or not guilty. Bekenne mich im Sinne der Anklage nicht schuldig. Rudolf Hess.
Nein.
That will be entered as a plea of not guilty.
2 years later on this date in 1947, Princess Elizabeth married Lieutenant Philip Mountbatten at Westminster Abbey in London.
Forasmuch as Philip and Elizabeth Alexandra Mary have consented together in a holy wedlock, and have witnessed the same before God and this company, and thereto have given and pledged their troth either to other, and have declared the same by giving and receiving of a ring and by joining of hands, I pronounce that they be man and wife together, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost.
By the way, there are various organizations that try to claim copyright on all these news clips that we're doing, and it annoys me all the time, but, you know, you need to know this stuff. There's some of the stuff. Bo Diddley became the first African-American performer to appear on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1955. Apparently, Sullivan infuriated when Diddley sang his self-titled song, Bo Diddley, instead of Tennessee Ernie Ford's hit 16 Tons. It was on this date in 1955, RCA offered a $35,000 contract for Elvis Presley. In today's dollars, it'd be over $340,000. In 1962, Cuban Missile Crisis ended. In response to the Soviet Union's agreeing to remove its missiles from Cuba, President President Kennedy ended the quarantine of the Caribbean nation. Cabaret opened at the Imperial Theater in New York on this date in 1966, and the Department of Justice filed its final antitrust suit against AT&T. That suit in 1974 led to the breakup of AT&T and its Bell system. And it was on this date in 1983, an estimated 100 million people watched the made-for-television movie The Day After, allegedly depicting a nuclear war and its effects on the United States.
President of the United States. My fellow Americans, while the extent of damage to our country is still uncertain, and shall probably remain so for some time, preliminary reports indicate that principal weapons impact points included military and industrial targets in most sectors of the United States. There is, at the present time, a ceasefire with the Soviet Union, which has sustained damage equally catastrophic.
And while the movie is horrific, it strikes me as it would be just a drop in the bucket if full-out nuclear conflict was to take place today. The Day After, screened on this date in 1983 on ABC. It was on this date in 1985, the very first Microsoft Windows released. And in 2001, President George W. Bush dedicated the U.S. Department of Justice building as the Robert F. Kennedy Justice Building, honoring the late Robert F. Kennedy on what would have been his 76th birthday. Passing away on this date in history, the very, very funny Alan Sherman, who, by the way, early in his career, before he got into all of the parody songs and such, he was a producer for I've Got a Secret. He was for Mark Goodson, Bill Todman. Also passing away on this date, Robert Altman, director of the movie MASH and Nashville, got an honorary Oscar. Also, and game show host Jim Perry, you remember him from Card Sharks and Sale of the Century. Birth dates on this date, actress Judy Canova, also, as we mentioned, Robert F. Kennedy and Robert Byrd. Comic actress Kay Ballard, a very funny lady. Richard Dawson, The Family Feud, although his Match Game appearances were delightful. Super Dave Osborne, Bob Einstein, born on this date as well, as the Allman Brothers, Dwayne Allman, all born on this date in history. She won an Oscar as Blanche in Bonnie and Clyde. Estelle Parsons, 95 today. Dick Smothers, the one whom Mom always liked best. Yes, he is 84 today. President Biden turns 80 today, as does the man who sang about the spirit in the sky, Norman Greenbaum, 80 years old. Veronica Hamill from Hill Street Blues is 75. Joe Walsh still thinks life is good at 75. From Rhoda and Younger, Richard Masur is 74. From the movies 10 and Bolero, Bo Derek, 66. From Community and the host of East the Soup, Joel McHale, 51. And a couple of country singers here on the list, Dierks Bentley and Josh Turner. Dierks Bentley, 47. Josh Turner, 45. From My Name is Earl and The League, Nadine Velasquez, 44. From Girls Aloud, Kimberly Walsh is 41. From Cinderella Story and The Hills Have Eyes, Dan Bird, 37. From Glee, Ashley Fink is 36. And from True Blood, Amelia Rose Blair is 35. Those are just a few of the people celebrating the 20th day of November as their birthday. If this is your birthday,
hi, we're the four freshmen, and we just want to say, happy birthday to you.
Going back 75 years on this Sunday to November 20th, 1947, Casey, crime photographer. On this Sunday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox here on your favorite radio station. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, Casey, crime photographer, starring Staats Cotsworth. This is one of those series that you helped us acquire some of these great episodes of that you're hearing. This is from November 20th, 1947, 75 years ago today.
The Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer.
Hi, Ethelbert. Hello, Casey.
What did you think of the royal wedding?
Oh, Casey, it's a shame. I couldn't get off to go to it.
You? You mean you got an invitation?
Sure, I've known him for years.
You know Mountbatten?
Mountbatten?
Yeah.
No, I mean Henry Royal. You know him, the cop on the beat here.
Oh, I thought for a minute you were famous.
Oh, Casey, but Ethelbert is. You know, he works for Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole, our adventure for tonight, Earned Reward. 8 o'clock in the evening, the Blue Note Cafe. Casey, camera slung over his shoulder and a heavy equipment case resting beside his high stool, is sitting at the bar when a little man carrying a similar press camera and photographer's case enters from the street and...
Hello, Casey.
Shorty, glad to see you, fella.
I thought I'd find you here.
You wanted to see me?
Didn't you think I'd be looking you up? This was payday. You lent me $100 last week, Casey, so here's 10 of it back.
Put that dough back in your pocket. Your kid's still in the hospital.
But she's okay now. Came through the operation swell.
That's good.
And the missus made me promise I'd give you this today. That Century pulled us out of a mighty tough spot.
Now, you tell the missus to forget it for a while. If one camera guy can't help another without women butting in, it's too bad.
Okay, Casey.
Going on a job, Shorty?
Oh, just a political meeting in the old Caledonian Hall on Farley Street.
Oh, one of those back page fillers, huh?
Yeah.
Well, after the beat you got on that Bernstein killing, you can afford to sit back for a while.
I got the break of a lifetime on that Bernstein job, didn't I?
Yeah, I'll say you did. You were only a few feet away when Joe Mosley shot him.
Oh, not that close. Mosley had made his getaway before I could get a real hot shot of him. But I got swell close-ups of Bernstein lying in the gutter before the cops showed up.
Yeah, you know, it's too bad hot pictures like that were wasted.
What do you mean, wasted?
They should have been running a good paper like the Express instead of that lousy sheet you work for.
Oh, nuts to you.
Here you are, Casey.
Thanks, Ethelbert. You know Shorty Irwin of the Globe, don't
Oh,
you?
sure. Hiya, Shorty.
Oh, fine, Ethelbert.
Casey tells me you're the guy who beat him and all the other press photographers on the Bernstein murder.
Yeah, that was my lucky day.
Say, I see a reward's been offered for information leading to the capture of Joe Mosley, who shot Bernstein.
Yeah, $5,000.
That's a nice piece of change.
I could sure use it.
You and me both.
I hear the cops been looking for him almost 2 weeks now without finding hide or hair of him. He's a smart cookie.
Just a dumb, kill-crazy gorilla who's had a lot of luck and a clever, crooked lawyer for a brother. And now, when the cops catch him, even a mouthpiece like his brother Frank can't save him from the chair after that Bernstein job.
Frank usually has some shyster trick up his sleeve, Casey. He'll go all out to save Joe like he did for his other brother, Tony. Got him out after 2 years.
Hey, there's 3 Mosley brothers?
Oh, sure. Tony was a camera guy like Casey and me, Ethelbert, on the old Inquirer, until he got caught doing a blackmail business on the side. He got 2 years for that. Should have had 10.
Yeah, he's back in this town now, running a little photo studio on the south side. I guess he's been keeping his nose clean, though.
I wouldn't lay any bets on that. Oh, say, I gotta get down to East Farley Street.
Yeah, I gotta be moving toward the office myself.
Now, I'll see you guys later. And, I'm much obliged, Casey.
Forget it, Shorty. Give my best to the missus and the kid, huh?
I will. So long.
So long, fella. So long.
So long, Shorty. Nice little guy, Shorty Irwin.
Yeah, he's tops.
I hear his kid's been sick.
Well, she's okay now, he says.
Oh, that's good. One of the fellas on his paper tells me he's had an awful lot of expense with her. Said Shorty even had to hock his life insurance to raise dough. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
He was thanking you for something when he went out. Casey...
he was thanking me for a tip on a horse I gave him.
Oh. The tips you give out on horses don't call for gratitude. They call for revenge.
Nuts to you. Well, I gotta be going. Put this sandwich on the cuff, Ethelbert, will you? After Annie and I stepped out last week, angel face, I'm a little short.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so long.
So long. Well, here comes Miss Williams.
Oh, hello, Annie.
Hi there. Hey, Casey, there's a big fire downtown, and City Desk told me to pick you up and get down there right away.
What kind of fire? Where downtown?
An old frame tenement house. People are trapped in it.
Hey, that's front page stuff.
Sure, come on. It's on East Farley Street.
Yeah, East Farley Street?
Yeah.
Holy smoke. Shorty's already on his way there. That little mug will see that fire and get another beat on.
Well, he's a pal of yours, Casey. What do you...
I got no pals when it comes to getting pictures. Come on, Ann. We gotta make this fire before that shrimp gets all the gravy. Annie, we missed the best part of it. Another 5 minutes, they'll have the fire out.
Boy, it must have gone up like a haystack.
Shorty probably got it while the blaze was at its best. He had a head start, too. Well, take another shot. It won't be any good.
Well, hurry up. I want to find the fire captain and get some dope on the people who are trapped in there.
Okay. All right, come on. Captain Glennon ought to be in charge. Yeah, there he is. Hey, Cap!
Hello, Casey. You just got here?
Yeah. Hey, was Shorty Irwin here while it was going good?
Yeah. I saw Shorty working his camera all over the place.
Yeah, Annie, I knew it.
Captain Glennon, the report we got was that several people were trapped in this tenement.
We think one man was caught in there, but no one else.
Oh, one man?
A neighborhood bum who... Hey, Stanley, straighten out that number 2 hose line.
Okay, Cap.
You say the man was a neighborhood bum, Captain?
Well, that's our guess, Miss Williams. This tenement had been condemned and was empty. An unidentified man was seen going into it tonight. Probably some poor devil who had no other place to sleep. Screams were heard from the rear, but we couldn't make any attempted rescue.
That's your story to phone in, Annie. Can't get any more until the ashes are cool enough for men to go in there.
Well, that won't be long. The way we've watered this place, you better stick around.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, well, thanks for everything, Cap. See you later.
So long, Casey.
Hey, where are you going, Casey?
To the roof, one of those tenements back there. And May got a high-angle shot. Maybe Shorty didn't think of that. Come on.
Okay.
There's an alley here that we can cut through and save time.
It's terribly dark.
Yeah, these buildings here cut off what's left of the fire glow.
I can't see a thing right here.
Neither can I. I've got a guiding sense in the dark. Anyhow, give me a hand. I'll help you. Oh! Ouch!
Hey, what's the matter?
I stumbled into something. Almost broke my big toe. Look at it. It was this box.
Did that kick you gave it make your toe feel better?
I don't see anything funny.
I don't see anything at all.
All right, come on. We haven't got all night.
Oh!
What's Annie?
I just stumbled into something. Hey, Casey, I almost fell, and I touched something warm and soft.
What?
Yeah, light a match. Light a match and see what it is.
Okay. Good Lord.
Hey, it's a man. Man lying on his face in blood.
Here, hold the match while I get a look.
Okay.
This guy's still warm. Turn him over and see.
Casey!
It's Shorty Irwin.
Yeah, Shorty Irwin.
Oh, wait a minute. He's not breathing.
Oh, the match is gone out.
Never mind the matches. Run back to the end of this alley and find a cop. Have somebody phone Logan at homicide and hurry.
Yeah, okay, Casey.
And get a doctor, Annie, quick. Maybe Shorty isn't dead.
Yeah, I
The guy's got a wife and a sick kid, and he was broke. Who could have shot him? Who and why? What? Who's there?
It was me, Guy. Only me.
All I know, Logan, is that I heard somebody moving just behind me, and then something hit me.
According to the doc, it must have been the butt of a gun.
Oh, Casey. Gee, we thought at first that you were dead, too.
What? Shorty is dead, huh?
Yeah. A 38 slug got him in the back. Went through his heart.
Who could have killed a harmless little guy like him?
The same one who slugged you, Casey, from the looks of things.
Yeah, but who was the killer, Logan? Haven't you found any leads?
Not yet.
How long have I been out?
Almost half an hour, Casey. Gee, I'm so worried.
It's all right, kid. I'm okay. I was born with a thick skull.
Hey, you knew Irwin pretty well, Casey. Can't you think of some reason why...
There wasn't any reason, Logan.
Now, don't question Casey now, Captain Logan. The doctor says he's got to go to the hospital.
Hospital? Oh, no. Forget it, Annie. Logan, you remember Shorty got a beat on the Bernstein murder. Maybe Mosley thought Shorty got a picture that would help strap him in the chair and...
Now, forget about Mosley, pal. He's dead.
Who's dead?
Joe Mosley.
He was the man who died in the tenement fire, Casey.
Joe Mosley?
Yeah. Fireman dragged out a charred body shortly after you were socked. It was lying just inside what was once the back door. Here's what they found on it.
That watch has Joe Mosley's name engraved on the case, Casey. And the diamond ring has his initials inside.
And there was some fancy bridge work in the mouth of the remains that I'm pretty sure was Mosley's. It replaced some teeth that I personally had the pleasure of knocking out when he resisted arrest one time.
And he was hiding out in that abandoned tenement.
Yeah. And now the state won't have to burn him.
Well, then who killed Shorty?
We'll find out.
Yeah. Well, I gotta get back to the office. Joe Mosley's death and poor Shorty's murder make feature stuff of these bum pictures I got of this fire.
No, you're waiting here for the ambulance.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Oh, now, Casey,
Logan,
please.
give me my camera and my plate case.
Hey, listen, pal, you ought to take
Wait, nuts. Where's my stuff? Where is it?
Well, here's your tools.
All right.
Casey,
Why should I go to the hospital? Lie there and think about that nice little guy, Shorty Irwin. That some louse shot in the back.
You're not fit to be working, Casey.
That's
Even
all
City
right.
Desk wants you to go home and let somebody
Will you
else
lay
finish
off,
this-
please? Look, wait a minute, will you? I'm trying to develop these films that I shot. You got no business in the darkroom anyway, Annie.
Okay, if you want me to go out.
I'm sorry, kid. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
It's okay, I know. I understand.
Let's see what I got here. Hey, Say, I don't remember shooting anything from this angle. Wait a minute, let me see another. Annie. I didn't take these pictures.
What?
Well, there's a shot here of... Get on the phone outside and call Logan right away.
Sure,
will
but
you?
what's it all about, Casey? What have you found?
I won't be sure until I made a print of this negative. But I think I've got a picture of Shorty Irwin's murderer.
Well, November 20th, 1947, Casey Crime Photographer on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We'll have a look at the news from 75 years ago today next. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station on this Sunday, and we're listening to an episode of Casey Crime Photographer, as it was originally broadcast on Thursday, November 20th, 1947. By the way, on that same date, CBS and NBC broadcast the royal wedding on the radio. So, yeah. That's interesting. Anyway, the show was broadcast at 9:30 p.m. and on CBS, in the newspapers of that Thursday, 75 years ago, these were a few of the headlines. Winter relief up to a total of $597 million for France, Italy, and Austria approved by the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, with curbs designed to safeguard supplies at home and to keep an American eye on how the money is spent. But the Senate House Economic Committee ruled out, for the present session at least, any consideration of President Truman's request for power to bring back rationing and price control on a selective basis if other anti-inflation measures fail. A bitter fight on renewal of the Reciprocal Trade Agreements Act shaped up in Congress yesterday as Chairman Knudsen, the Republican of Minnesota of the House Ways and Means Committee, assailed the Geneva Tariff Agreements as threatening American living standards. Congressman Richard M. Simpson, the Republican of Michigan, described the 23-nation trade pact to become effective in part January 1st as a calamity that will put America's industry back to the wall when foreign imports flow in volume into domestic markets. The trade agreements will expire in June unless renewed. The Citizens Food Committee, headed by Charles Luckman, about to turn over its work to regular governmental departments and retire from active direction of the Save Food for Europe campaign. That, according to officials last night. Luckman conferred with President Truman and other White House officials. He had been anxious, it was said, to give up the assignment. He took at the request of President Truman and returned to his work as president of the Lever Brothers Soap Company. French Premier Paul Remedier resigned last night, clearing the way for aging socialist leader Blum to form a centrist government designed to head off a disastrous clash between communist and the right-wing forces of General Charles de Gaulle. President Vincent Aurier accepted the resignation of Remedier's 28-year-old government after a 3-hour cabinet session devoted chiefly to rapidly spreading strikes and a communist threat to paralyze all industry with a nationwide walkout. Unless Americans breed with greater care, the U.S. soon after 2000 A.D. will be a nation of high-grade morons ruled by the few surviving clever people. That, according to Dr. Walter B. Pitkin, the noted Columbia University professor and author of Life Begins at 40, made this pronouncement in a postscript to the recently published revised edition of Human Breeding and Survival. Uncontrolled breeding, he wrote, favors the survival and multiplying of the least gifted. A letter addressed to Mr. Odway, Mayor de New York, was delivered to City Hall in New York City and accepted at Mayor William O'Dwyer's office. It was from a tire company in Paris, France. And those some of the day's top news stories, as reported in the newspapers of Thursday, November 20th, 1947, on your radio, Casey, crime photographer, and we'll hear the conclusion in just a few moments on this Sunday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station. Now, we'll start off the new week of Classic Radio Theater on Monday with an episode of Box 13, starred and owned by Alan Ladd. The program of Box 13, originally broadcast 74 years ago, November 21st, 1948, Diamond in the Sky. Dan Holliday, that's Alan Ladd, flies to Paris to retrieve the fabulous Mirabulsi diamond and is arrested for diamond theft. That's on Monday's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, always at classicradio.stream or on this radio station. Now the conclusion of Casey Crime Photographer starring Staats Cotsworth, 75 years ago, November 20th, 1947.
How'd you get this picture, Casey?
Logan, I didn't get it. Shorty got it.
Shorty?
Look, what did you do with the other equipment case, Logan? The one that you thought was Shorty's. I must have been so groggy.
Well, we opened it and found it empty. All the film's gone.
That explains everything. Look, what do you see in this picture I brought you?
Two guys walking up an alley with their backs turned.
But one of them is looking around over his shoulder. You can see his face.
And it's the face of Joe Mosley.
Yeah, you're right. In spite of the watch, the ring, the bridge work, Joe Mosley wasn't burned up in that fire because Irwin was killed after the fire was almost out.
That's right, Captain. It wasn't Mosley's body that was found.
No, it was just some poor devil of Joe Mosley's size, with his stuff planted on him, teeth and all.
Yeah, sure. And the old gag was pulled so good I almost fell for it.
Almost? Well, you did fall for it, pal. Joe Mosley's brother, Frank, the lawyer, is a smart guy. Frank knew that Joe couldn't beat the Bernstein rap once you cops got your mitts on him. His only possible out was to make you think that he was dead, so he framed that fire.
You think the other guy in this picture is Joe's brother, Frank?
Sure. His face doesn't show, but he's Frank's build.
If we can prove Frank was with Joe, we can nail him, too, as accessory. I've always wanted to get that tricky shyster.
Well, Logan, look, here's what I figure happened.
Yeah?
Joe Mosley went into that tenement tonight and planted his watch and ring and an extra set of bridge work on another guy who'd been smuggled in there unseen, probably doped or already dead. And then started the fire, yelled a couple of times after the fire got going, and sneaked out the back way into that alley where his brother Frank was waiting to see that everything went according to plan.
Yeah, but where does Shorty Irwin fit in?
Shorty went into the alley for the same reason I did, Logan, to get a picture of the fire from a new angle. He saw Joe and Frank up the alley where the fire glow made it bright. And he probably thought of that $5,000 reward. He was a camera toter, so his first instinct was to get a picture first. He called the cops afterwards. Well, Shorty snapped his shutter and started to run, putting the film he just exposed into his case as he ran.
And then Joe shot him in the back. And he was about to take the films from Shorty's case when we came into the alley.
That's it, Andy. The box that I stumbled over was really Shorty's equipment case. After Joe slugged me, he took the films from my case thinking that they were Shorty's.
Yeah, it must be the way it happened. So now we still have to find Joe and Frank Mosley.
Yeah, I think I know how to get both of them. And where.
What do you mean?
Well, all you got to do, Logan, wait a minute. Before I pass out any more information, Logan, I want an understanding about that $5,000 reward.
Reward?
Yeah, I want it. I want it all. No divvies with you or any other cops.
You rat.
Huh?
A pal of yours has been bumped off, and you'll help nail the guys who killed him only if you can collect $5,000.
Logan.
You heard him, Miss Williams.
If you honestly
In my racket, we know what guys will do for money.
Okay. I said I want the $5,000 and no divvies.
I don't make any deal.
No, out for the pot yourself now that I've shown a lot of cards?
No, but I'd have a legitimate right to be out for it. I wasn't a personal friend of Shorty Irwin.
You lousy. Okay. I'm playing this my own way. And I'll see you later, Logan.
Hey, Casey, wait for me.
I'm not waiting for anybody. And the next time I see you, Logan, I think I'll knock your teeth out.
Casey, where are you going?
To get in my car, Annie. Go home, please.
I'm going with you. You know Logan didn't mean what he said.
Didn't he?
No, he couldn't have. You spoke of it so suddenly, Casey, out of a clear sky. It took him by surprise. And why are you so interested in that reward?
You figure it out for yourself, honey. Here's a car. Better take a cab home.
I'm not going home. I'm going with you.
Okay, if you want to stick your neck out, get in.
I don't think I'll enjoy your company, but I will go along with you to satisfy my curiosity.
It's your neck and your curiosity.
Where are we going?
To the south side and through red lights.
What's on the south side?
A photographer's studio. Run by a guy who calls himself Jackson.
you've thought out enough to tell me that one of Joe Mosley's brothers runs Jackson's studio. I would like
Annie,
to know.
wait a minute. I'm sorry I acted like a heel to you, but it was Logan. He made me so sore.
Well, stay sore at Logan if you want to, but will you explain why you're going to call on this Jackson, who is really Tony Mosley?
Well, Frank Mosley will want to have the films that Joe thinks that he took from Shorty's kit developed to make sure that they have the incriminating picture. And Tony, Mosley brother number 3, is the logical guy to do it.
But they took the film from the alley, why, it's over an hour ago.
I know. I don't think Frank would take a chance of just driving to his place in a beeline. Laying even money that we get to Tony's about the same time they do.
Well, if you're right, you can't capture a killer like Joe Mosley single-handed.
Give you odds on that.
Casey, you don't even carry a gun.
Got one tonight. Borrowed it before we left headquarters.
Oh.
Well, Tony's joint's just up this block across the street. Park right here.
Studio's upstairs place, huh?
Yeah, on the second floor.
There's hardly anyone on this street. No policeman. Look, we can't take a chance on going up there.
We're not going up there, Annie. You're staying right in the car.
Oh, no.
Yeah, honey, look, I want you to be out here watching. If you don't see me come outside in 5 minutes, you make for that drugstore in the corner and phone the cops.
Well, yeah, okay.
All right, but if you have to call them, Annie, make it very clear that I'm not splitting that reward.
Well, have you developed every film, Tony?
Every exposed one you brought me, Frank.
Joe, there's nothing but pictures of the fire here.
I see. Maybe I rubbed out that little guy for nothing, Frank.
Yeah, but we saw him with his camera pointed at us in that alley. Yeah, you're so brainless, you rubbed out Bernstein before witnesses. So that even a lawyer like me can't make a jury believe you didn't do it. Now I think you done something dumber than usual. Only you can't figure out what.
Stop calling me dumb,
Now,
Frank.
shut up, you screwball. Now, let me think. Now, then that other guy, the one you slugged in the alley. You don't know who he was?
How could I know? It was pitch dark.
It's with a girl, you told me. Didn't you hear them say something that
Hey,
might...
she called the guy, Casey, I think it was. He seemed to know the guy I just shot.
She called the guy Casey, Joe?
Yeah.
I know. Casey, Morning Express. Sure, he's the answer. He'd carry an equipment case. Those were his films you got, Joe.
Then the film you wanted, Frank?
The cops probably have it by now.
Hey, we gotta make tracks and fast.
Then get out of my studio. Here, quick. I don't want to be mixed up in your murder.
Yeah, we're going, Tony, we're going. But burn those films you developed and forget you saw us tonight.
No one will learn anything out of me, Frank. But you and Joe, get out. Get out.
Come on, Frank.
Wait a minute.
It's our auto horn.
Schultz's signal.
What do you mean?
Yeah, we left a lookout in the car, Tony. That horn meant somebody's coming up here.
Cops that trailed you to my place.
No. That signal don't mean cops. Joe, I'll open the door quick. You take care of whoever's coming up the stairs, but no shooting unless you have to.
Yeah, okay. All right, open the door. Bring up your mitts, guy, and quick. I drop that gat in your hand. I'll let you have it.
Okay. Never had any luck packing a rod.
Shut up
anyway.
and step inside and keep quiet.
Frank, it's Casey.
I know.
How are you, Frank? Hello, Tony. This mug with a gun, of course, is brother Joe.
What were you doing on them stairs?
I was coming up to have Tony take my picture.
A wise guy, ain't
Shut
you?
up, Joe. Where's the film, Casey?
What film?
Come clean. I figured out what happened.
Yeah, I guess you have. Well, the cops have the film, Frank, and the cops have this joint surrounded right now.
Frank.
Now take it easy, Tony. That bluff won't work, Casey. We have a lookout on the street who would have let us know if any cops were around. Just as he tipped us to expect you.
Oh, yeah. Should have thought of that. Guess that sock on the head Joe gave me didn't do my brains much good.
You're gonna get more than a sock on the head this time, wise guy.
That's right. I can guess why you had a hunch to come here, Casey. But I can't figure out why you were sap enough to come along. You know, you put yourself in quite a spot now.
You better not pull any rough stuff, Frank. I wasn't such a sap as you
Hold
think.
it.
Someone's coming up the stairs, Frank.
Yeah, I hear him. This guy makes a whisper, Joe. You know what to do.
Yeah. Hey, Schultz didn't give us any signal. What?
Yeah, Schultz's knock. Go on, let him in.
Oh, you look at her.
Yeah.
Let me in, guys.
Okay, Schultz.
Hey, who's a dame with you?
Casey.
Annie.
Get in there, lady.
All right.
I saw the big guy leave the skirt in the car when he started up here, boss. So after I gave you the signal, I kept an eye on her. She started toward the drugstore with us a telephone a minute ago.
You put a gun in my back, Casey.
That's all right.
Well, you done a nice job, Schultz. Well, Casey, if it depended on this girl to bring the cops, she won't now.
Gee, I'm sorry, Casey.
You two have acted so dumb in coming here alone. I got an idea you've been even dumber. That you didn't turn that film over to the cops.
You're wrong, Frank. Captain Logan of Homicide has got that
Nuts.
film.
If he knew about it, he'd come here with you.
Now listen.
You listen to me. Where is that film?
Casey just told
You're
you
going to
when-
tell us the truth. And tell us where it is. All right. Joe, you know how to make him talk.
Yeah, I know.
And start with the dame.
Right now.
Let her go. Keep the guy covered, Schultz.
He was too slow, Frank.
Break him way out, boss. Get him right down.
Joe.
I'll fix him, Frank.
Casey, look out!
Got it. Now, Mr. Casey won't bother us for a long time.
Mug socked me before I KO'd him with my gat. Now, when Socks Joe Mosley gets away with it, I'm going to beat his head in.
No, don't hit him again,
Just
don't.
watch me. Hey, Joe's been shot. Pick him up, you guys.
The
cops! Hey, they're at the window and at the door.
When your lookout came up here with Miss Williams, Mosley, it gave me a chance to post my men.
You killed Joe. You killed my brother.
I've saved the state expense. And if you make a move that gives me any excuse, I'll save it another bill for juice. Get the cuffs on him, boys.
Logan, how did you know we came here?
There's no way of keeping you quiet tonight, is there, Casey? You've recovered from another knockout.
My head.
Gee, Casey.
That's all right, Eddie. I'm okay. Logan, I ask you, how did you know?
I simply followed your car, you sap. You didn't think I'd let a bloodsucker like you collect the $5,000 reward.
I see. It's all yours, Logan. You won it. You earned it.
Only you wanted it. For Shorty Irwin's widow. Well, she's going to get it.
Logan.
I knew that was your idea from the first. And I got sore at you for trying to make a deal with me instead of coming clean. Shorty's picture earned that reward for his family, no matter what anyone did afterward. And the next time you infer that I'd cheat a widow and a kid, I'll knock your teeth out.
Okay, Logan. I got it coming. Only just the teeth, please. Please don't anybody sock me on the head again tonight.
Hello, Miss Williams. Captain Logan.
Hello, Ethelbert.
Say, where's Casey?
He's home in bed, Ethelbert, on Dr. Logan's orders.
You sent the guy to bed, Captain?
That's right, Ethelbert. And the two men I assigned to take him home have orders to make sure that's where he goes. What's so funny?
Hey, look who's coming in the door with those bandages on his head.
What? Casey!
Hiya, folks. Meet my pal.
Sergeant, I thought I told you to see that Casey...
Wait a minute, Logan. That's not their fault.
What do you mean?
They brought me here. This is where I told them I live.
Why, All right. Set him up, Ethelbert. A guy who earns a $5,000 reward can afford to pay for it. These are on you, Casey.
$5,000?
Ethelbert, can you lend me $5 more? I'm still flat.
Crime Photographer, starring Staats Cotsworth as Casey, is brought to you each Thursday by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, makers of Fire King Oven Glass, Anchor Glass Containers, Anchor Caps and Closures. All products of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Crime Photographer is directed by John Deese. The original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. This is Tony Marvin saying goodnight for the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, with offices in all principal cities of the United States and Canada. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
For From 75 years ago, November 20th, 1947, Casey Crime Photographer here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Would you thank this station, support their advertisers, their kindness and courtesy, allow us to be with you each and every time you roll around here on your favorite station. Miss a day, you don't have to miss a single show. All of our shows are available on demand at classicradio.stream. That's classicradio.stream, where you can stream our shows, learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can find podcast links, sites where you can download our shows from. You can find our social media links, and you can always buy me a coffee. I don't drink coffee. I really don't. But the Buy Me a Coffee money goes to help us acquire additional classic radio collections, like this episode of Casey Crime Photographer was one of them. And it also helps us expand the reach of our program. That's classicradio.stream, the Buy Me a Coffee function. Just check it out. I think you'll have a good time there. And thank this station, as I said, support the advertiser, but the best thing you can do is tell your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.